Okay, this is the first example of the semantic searching that you can do with Voqal via the new search mode. And to show that this is doing semantic searching, I'm going to look for JavaScript and notation, and there is no keyword, or there's nothing that says JavaScript or notation, but I have here JSON serializer, which obviously is JavaScript object notation. So let's try that. Search mode. Function that takes objects and turns them into JavaScript object notation. Function that does the opposite. API that returns greeting. Function that saves to do to database. Actually, can you show me the one that just puts it in the memory? Where's the code that sets up the database? So the speech to text isn't perfect, but it actually still found that correctly. So the first thing I asked is the function that takes objects, turned them into JavaScript object notation. It selected this. I say the function that does the opposite. It selected this. So not only is it searching semantically, but it actually is looking at the previous thing it returned, and I can ask it. I can give clarifying questions. So if I said to find some code that does JSON serialization, it would highlight this, and I say no, just the thing that does the serialization. It would highlight this, and I'm like, no, just the part that does the actual writing to string, and it would highlight this. So actually, you can, if you have an idea of what you're looking for, you can actually kind of narrow your way down. API that returns greeting, you return this, which is it just returns hello world. So again, I say greeting, and it realizes that's hello world, that's a greeting. Function that saves to do to database, it highlighted this code, which actually does save it to the database. And then I say no, just the one that puts it in the memory, which is this one. And it's the same thing as this implementation, except it puts it in memory. And then the last thing I say, the code that sets up the database, and it came up here and highlighted this one. So that is, this is the first example of semantic searching with Voqal. I have some ideas how to make this a lot better. So something I noticed was, or something that I had an idea of, is that sometimes if you ask it to find something, it'll find something that's close, but not exactly what you're looking for. And you can give it clarifying statements. It would be really cool to save those clarifying statements with that code, so that if another developer or you in the future come back and ask this to find the same thing, it would use those clarifying statements to realize this is what they're looking for. So to show that this is actually real code, I'm going to show actually the implementation of it, which is using OpenAI Assistant. It would be faster, but OpenAI is currently having problems with GPT-4 Mini, so I'm actually using GPT-4o for this. So the way it works is when you open the project, it saves all the files that you have, all the source code files that you have, into a vector store. So these are all the files that I have for that project. Which is, it's kind of cool, is that this is actually incredibly cheap because source code is very, very small. So you can store thousands of files for very, very cheap. So it creates a vector store with all the source code of the project, and then it creates this assistant, which is actually doing the finding. So it's a very simple prompt I have. You're an assistant with access to the source code the developer works on. They will ask you questions related to the code. You are to return the fully qualified name of the location of the code in question, nothing else. Just return qualified name here, and that's it. Always try to be as specific as possible. You should also return the line range of the code in question. If you cannot find the specified code or the request does not make sense, respond with question, clarifying question. Here's an example of a success response, the name of the class and the line range. Here's an example of a clarifying question. Can you provide... So here, I actually didn't show that, but Actually, I can't show that. Forgot that I haven't implemented this part yet. But that would be the next step would be to implement this part so that when you asked it to find code that doesn't make sense, it'll ask questions to make you clarify. If there's more than one instance, it'll ask clarifying questions. So to show that this is the actual assistant doing the work, I'm going to go ahead and copy one of the things that I said before. So the code that turns object into JavaScript object notation. And again, it's using 4.0, so it's slower than it would normally be, but this is the first implementation, so future implementations will look better. And the Assistant API is just slow in general, so this is probably good for proof of concept, but probably not good for an actual implementation. It typically is not this slow though, so that's kind of crazy. So yeah, it returned the JSON serializer lines 8 through 22, which would be here to here. So it's a little bit over the function. And now if I asked it to do the opposite, again, it's typically not this slow. When I was trying it yesterday, I was like 1, 2, 3 seconds, maybe 4 seconds, which even then I was like, yeah, this is too slow to actually offer as a product. But this is just this is no way this could work. So yeah, same thing, JSON serializer, but now 24 through 31, which if I go to the code, that is 24 through 31. So I got that one correct. So again, this is just the first implementation. It's very rough, but I want to kind of show an example and maybe get some feedback on how that looks and if that would be kind of the path people would be looking for a way to search and navigate code via voice.